Hello and welcome back to Shelf Centered. This is Bryce, and thank you so much for getting centered with me here. I've been wanting to do this for a while. I found a tier list maker that had all the Stephen King books. Now, I have not read all Stephen King books, but I figured I would tier list what I have read, which is just over 20 Stephen King books. That's probably my most read author. I'll be honest. I mean, Robert Jordan gets up there with just the 15 that I've read of his Wheel of Time series. I'm trying to think, Erickson's got to be up there, but I'm only really at like 11 or 12 for him. I got to think through. I don't think I've really read any other author this much, and because the king delivers. He's the king for a reason. Now, I clearly have a lot of his classics to get to. I've got to read It. I've got to read Salem's Lot. There's quite a few that I want to read that are still definitely high on my list, but I have been getting kind of sidetracked on the newest that keeps coming out. So I will attempt to read some more. I will keep going in my list, but this is my tier list of what I've read of Stephen King so far. Yes, I am a Dark Tower fan. That's going to be pretty apparent here. All right, here is our list of Stephen King books. Now, I am not even close to having read all Stephen King books, so we are going to be picking our way through, but I've read a good, I think 20 plus, maybe, we'll see. But anyway, here's our list of rankings: top 5, amazing, great, good, average, poor, and bottom 5. I can't promise that the top 5 will only contain 5. We'll see. We may have to move some things around, but I liked the rating list here, and here's our list. So anyway, I have read Carrie. Let's see. Carrie, I thought was good. I don't think it was great, amazing, or top 5, but it was good. It was a good, probably a good intro to Stephen King, although it was like the 8th or 10th book that I actually read. All right, The Shining. The Shining definitely deserves some, let's see, probably great. I think, and the problem is just being honest here, I tend to prefer King's more science fiction or fantasy books as opposed to more real world books, although I think he does slice of life just better than anyone else ever. But The Shining was good, and it outshined many of his other ones. Man, that was bad. The Stand, what are you going to do? But I'll put it in the top 5. The problem is Dark Tower, I can see taking up a lot of space up there, so it might get kicked to amazing if I'm sticking with the top 5. All right, Night Shift. I think I'll include it because I've read some. I just vaguely, is this the one with the guy that starts eating himself? Because that one's crazy. But there's some good and some bad. The hard part is with many stories is that some are gonna be hit, some are gonna be miss, and then when you just have to rate them all, it's like you get somewhere in the middle. It's not fair. You need to do like each one individually or something. Okay, now we got The Long Walk. I loved The Long Walk. This is up there. I'm going to do it amazing just knowing where I stand with some of these. We'll see. I may have to redo some things, but The Long Walk is just so well done. Again, like I said, I tend to prefer his kind of more futuristic ones, and that one's one excellently done. All right, now I got to jump ahead here. Gunslinger. Frankly, the Gunslinger itself, I know I talked about Dark Tower being a favorite, but Gunslinger I'm keeping down here at average. It was fine, and it at least was enough to get me to the next book, which we'll talk about in a sec. But average for now. Different Seasons, I have read this. Different Seasons is amazing. Again, we'll reassess here, but I mean, Shawshank Redemption. What is it? Apt Pupil. I forget. It might have a different name, but it's what is it? Hayworth and the Shawshank Redemption is actual. I can't even get that one right. But anyway, so many good stories. What is it? The one that's like the kind of more horror one was actually my least favorite. But anyway, the ones that aren't even horror at all were the best. Were so great. All right, the Talisman. I think I had higher expectations for this. I will put it in good. I'll put it at the top of good because I liked it more than Carrie. But I didn't, I was expecting, I just had to hear some people talk about it, it's like life changing, and I think because they read it at the right time of life, he does those like kids so well, and just that age level so well. King does, and so and I'm just, when I read it was a bit older, so because that's how I am. All right, the drawing of the three. This is where we're getting into top 5. More Than the Stand. This is what got me into, okay, I'm a fan of Stephen King. I didn't think I was going to be. Drawing of the three, but you saw I kind of hesitated. The Stand is really good, so maybe that has earned its spot there. The Drawing of the Three is so well done and just got me right into the Dark Tower. Because I can tell you, The Stand was not, at least for me, the right way to jump into Stephen King. It did not work for me. It was, I came back and reread it, and that's where it worked for me once I kind of understood, I guess, a little bit more about reading Stephen King. And I don't know why that makes sense, but it does to me. 4 Past Midnight. Yes, that's the next one, I think. Let's see. Let's go with Great. The Langoliers is just awesome, and I was actually introduced to that by watching the TV movie with the guy from like Quantum Leap, right? Anyway, so good. But that's a good one. You got Secret Window, whatever. Anyway, that movie too was interesting with Johnny Depp, and I think it was pretty good. All right, The Wastelands. Wastelands I liked even more than there we go, struggling there. It's so good. Just taking the crew even to crazier heights from The Drawing of Three, where we're just really pulling everybody together, the quartet, as some may call it, as they call it, because they are linked by karma, by by their destinies, and The Wastelands is just, it's so good. It's so nuts. All right, like I said, lots of Dark Tower, and then I can say that I consider Wizard and Glass my favorite Stephen King book. It's so good. It's just so good. I tell people I don't think I've ever read a better love story than in that book, and I love it. I think it does help knowing it's like 90% of the 700 pages paperback, it's like 90% flashback. I think that's important to know. But I would have been frustrated too had I not known that going in. And so I think a lot of people were surprised by that. All right, Wolves of the Kala. This is pretty much going to be, I guess, apparently a Dark Tower list for me. It shows how much I've read. I've read some others. Let's see. Wolves of the Kala, I think I'm going to go with Amazing because I don't want to take the standout. So now that I'm thinking about it. And there might be more, but Wolves of the Kala was good though. I know a lot of people struggled with that. It's kind of like the new part of the Dark Tower series, and again, it worked for me. And I think, again, having some kind of knowledge instead of just reading them as they came out. All right, Song of Susanna, and I think the struggles from kind of being more of like this in the last book of the Dark Tower itself, are just kind of more like one book, because Song of the Susanna is really just set up. I need to read it again and see where I stand. Hopefully I like it more, but again, I still thought it was great. I don't have any problem with it really per se. And then you got the Dark Tower itself. There we go, the Dark Tower. I'm going to put this up there above Wolves of the Kala. I liked it more. I liked the ending. I know some people struggled with it. I liked the ending. I thought it was a good ending. And King doesn't always stick the landing. He is more about the journey than the destination. It's very clear. All right. Then we've got Cell. maybe I'm going to go with poor just because nothing's there. I don't know if I could put on the level of average. It was fine, I guess, and maybe average is fair enough, but it's like, all I could see is like King was already tired of people being on their phones all the time and was like, what if they just all became zombies because of it? But it's good. It's just like, it's got the typical structure of some King books, not all, but you've got like your kind of scholar, learned person who conjectures about the situation. You know, Langoliers kind of has the same kind of just level of characters kind of trying to work together, and so you've got some going, you know, oh, well, what if it's this, and trying to posit things and the theories, right? And then everyone, and you know, your person who doesn't know anything and is asking questions. Anyway, so it felt a little paint by numbers, I guess, is what I'm saying. All right, 11/22/63. This is up there, at least an amazing. I may even put it ahead of Dark Tower books. I know I've got Suzanne in there. This was really, it's just a good book, and I think maybe it might be one of the best places to start if you want to see if you like King, because it almost has like a story within a story, because it's like a test story, if that makes sense, to get to like the real plot. And so you can almost kind of see if you like it and see where that goes. It's really well done. It's such an interesting take, and it's honestly not even political. I don't like books that get political, but I really liked that. Dark Tower, The Wind Through the Keyhole. I think I'm going to put it on good. I think it might be my... I don't know. I think it might actually be better than The Gunslinger. I forget where I put it on. I have a listing of where I ranked the Dark Tower books, and those were pretty neck and neck, I think, for that one too. But I'll put it above. I have fond memories of that. And Gunslinger, I just remember being like, really? What's this all about? Like, what? It didn't make a whole lot of sense to me. It was pretty slow moving and dry. I do need to reread it, though. All right. Joyland. Joyland is just like this bundle of joy. It's exactly what it says. It is, I hesitated in putting it top 5. Maybe I will keep it here. I don't know. Different Seasons is so good. I'm going to keep it in amazing, though. Second to top tier. I really enjoyed it. It's just like this good, heartwarming story almost. Like that you're just like, from Stephen King. It's not really horror at all. It's one of his hard case crime books, and it's just like this like summer vacation vibes of happiness is all I remember from it, which is all good. All right, speaking of hard case crime, the newest hard case crime book, Later. Didn't quite enjoy it as much as Joyland, but I did like it. Maybe more than Carrie, less than The Talisman. That sounds about right. It was good. It was a good, interesting story. Kept me going. I thought Later was just a bad name for it. Could have been named so many other things, but Later. Anyway, just I guess after the like storytelling mechanism he used, it just didn't make any sense to me. But whatever. All right, Billy Summers. I know people were hit or miss with this one. I thought it was great. I'm going to go with great. Maybe bottom of great is fine. But I thought it was really an interesting take in that you just felt King's love of writing through writing a character who's writing. Like, he loves writing, and that's why he's still doing this to this day, still cranking out at least 1 or 2 books a year. It's insane. And at his age, and still killing it, still kicking it out of the park. Especially because I'm just pulling Fairy Tale up there. I don't know if I have a top 5, apparently. Maybe I'll have to redo some things. But Fairy Tale, I really liked, but maybe it's on the top of great. I really liked that. Yeah, I think that's good for Fairy Tale. I quite enjoyed it. I thought it was really good. They had both the slice of life on one end, and then like literally a fairy tale fantasy adventure on the other. I know a lot of people didn't like the fantasy part of it. I did. I thought it really worked. It was interesting and definitely a Stephen King take on a fairy tale, right? Which is pretty much a downer. But and I don't want to get into spoilers on it, but also maybe not what you might imagine Stephen King might do with a fairy tale either. I know it's like both. It starts out as you would imagine Stephen King doing a fairy tale, and then the ending, I don't think you would imagine Stephen King giving a fairy tale, if that makes sense. There we go. All right, let's reassess. I said there might be more in the top 5. I think I can now maybe put something else in there. I think it's fair to do that because we're talking top 5. We'll do that. That's fair. There we go. That's really the only adjustment. I think that's a good one. Cell is definitely my least favorite King book. But again, I didn't hate it. It was just like nothing crazy going on. It was very much paint by numbers, and it's like, yeah, if you like that kind of thing, it was fine. I need to read more short stories. I've done some of the novellas, so that's good, but need to read more of those. Clearly more, and I was doing some math, and we got, let's see, 5, 10, 15, 19, 20, 21, 22. So we do have over 20 King books that I have read. He might well be my most read author. I think that might be it, actually. There's still a lot more to go, as you can see here. A lot more of his classics. I really want to get to Salem's Lot and It. Misery I've had up for a while. I have on writing. I have a lot of these. I own a lot of these. The Girl Who Loved Tom Gordon I have. Gerald's Game I want to read. I have the Bachman kind of a compilation of like Rage, Roadwork, a couple more. Running Man I really want to read because that's sci-fi, and I love the Schwarzenegger one is so good. Under the Dome I hear is really good. The Green Mile. I mean, there's so many. Bag of Bones. I want to see the Dark Tower references there. I just got the Colorado Kid. So lots more. Everything's Eventual is another one I think has Dark Tower references, so I got to read that. Anyway, lots more to read, so that's good. It's a good problem to have. Eyes of the Dragon. That's his fantasy book. I really need to read that one. So anyway, yeah, there's my list. That's all I've read so far. So we'll update this eventually in a couple years. But I've been the problem is I keep keeping up apparently with just the new books and not going back to the classics and whatnot. So it's easy to just grab the new thing because it's nice and shiny and new. All right. Hey, thanks so much for stopping by. And if you like this kind of thing, please like and subscribe, and we will catch you later. Bye.